high spot matches, shall we say, where they're going to do big moves to get you out of your seat. And they just thought, put this on, and then we just get on to the next one. But this, I'd say, because of that, because of the bad spot that it had, I'd also give it a 3.5. I would have given it a 4 if they had actually just done a little bit more with it, And like, I wasn't. Of course, I like Neville, but I wasn't a fan of him winning it at this particular time.
No, I'm with you there, Matt. I'm with you. Okay, now this then moves us on to the WWE. Now I've got to get this right because they've changed the name. Is it this WWE Championship now? I think I'm allowed to say World anymore. Can't have World because we've got a Universe, so World doesn't really cut it anymore, does it? So WWE Championship. AJ Styles, the defending AJ Styles, up against John Cena. Matt, I'll let you start with this one because I'm sure you've got some good things to say. But how good was this match, Matt?
Right. Well, this I'm going to start by saying we've seen AJ versus John Cena a few times now, and the previous couple of encounters were good, but I always felt like there could have been more to them, and I kind of felt like we'd seen all they had to do with each other. They'd given it us like what they had last time, so this one was going to be a bit here we go again. Like, what we're going to get, is it just going to be a bit of a boring one? Are we just going to see a straight AJ retaining the title and then moving on to Elimination Chamber? But I've got to say, this is one of those great occasions in wrestling when I'm really pleasantly surprised about what they actually give us, and actually how hard and actually how much work the two people in this match put into it, and how much they actually must have compromised with each other. And it didn't really feel like one of them was getting the better of the other one, even though someone has to win and someone has to lose. It definitely felt like it got both men across great. And if anybody was questioning John Cena being on the way out, or his career hit downslope, or can he still perform at the top level, then he definitively gave us the answer in this match, because this match was pretty great, I gotta say. Yeah,
this blew me away. I was not expecting this, probably because I think, for me, in WWE terms, these two had already produced good quality matches, but this was just exceptional. Really, really great match, and John Cena, can that guy still go? For me, Matt, one thing it showed me is that John Cena, regardless of where you want to put him on that roster, is still the guy. He can cut it with whoever, it seems. You can put John Cena up against a wrestler's wrestler in someone like Kurt Angle. You could have John Cena up against a guy like Kane or The Big Show or Brock. This guy just gives something unique to each opponent. He's never... although people say, John Cena's always the same, always does the same moves at the end. Yeah, he does, but I mean, the reason he does that is because this guy is, he's he's an iconic figure. I mean, you look at Hulk Hogan, who wouldn't do those things? But at the same time, Matt, he's got something that Hulk Hogan never had, and he's got the ability to be able to go toe-to-toe with pretty much the best there is around the world, Matt, in terms of the wrestling feat. I could even imagine John Cena pulling out against someone like Shinsuke Nakamura, in a strong style. I think John Cena could pull that off. I think this guy, he will go down as the most sort of versatile wrestler there ever was, because he is a promoter's dream. And for me, it reassured that theory that I had with John Cena, that this guy still can cut it. Matt, there was a difference of opinions about the outcome of it. Some people felt that AJ Styles needed to win, and this was the one rub that he needed last to cement going into WrestleMania. Others wanting to see him tie with Ric Flair, but like we said on the preview, there wasn't a whole lot spoken about it. Interestingly enough, Matt, that some news I found out is that they did not go with a script idea, which was to have Ric Flair coming out and putting the strap out on sort of around John Cena's waist. They decided not to do that, and they done it as sort of like a backstage thing afterwards, which I found quite interesting, because they really haven't promoted that much, have they, Matt? In terms of, I know that they did on the night, but it wasn't something that the feud was about. which was a little bit of a shame. How much of a big deal is it, Matt, in terms that John Cena has tied that record finally? Because I know that you and I were both in the presence of John Cena a couple of years ago at SummerSlam when he had the chance of doing that last against Seth Rollins, and of course he did have AJ sort of lost the title last year to AJ and then had that rematch, but I think we knew in the rematch he wasn't going to win then. So how much of a big deal is it that he's now tied up that 16 times with Ric Flair?
Well, I think personally it's a huge deal. I mean, how many times have we heard people referring to Ric Flair as the 16-time champion, Yeah. It's almost synonymous with Ric Flair's name. But now you can't just say that, because now you've got to, every time you mention Ric Flair now, you have to think of John Cena in the same kind of thought, because these guys are the only two that have reached that kind of pinnacle, and it's quite a feat. And the amazing thing about it is John Cena has the ability and the time to surpass that. Like, he could still do that once, even twice, even 3 times more, and of course that's going to make a lot of people angry out there, saying that, how could we say that John Cena could surpass that record, or that he should even be allowed to. But I think the whole path that wrestling has taken over the last 12 years is undeniably shaped by John Cena and what he's achieved, and the fact that he has never faltered at all. He's never backed down, and he's never actually let the company down in any way. And what a top level performer, a total professional, I'd say. And you can't deny the passion he has for wrestling, because he is a guy that's been there each and every night and putting in the hard work and all that. And credit to him. And also great for AJ as well, in playing his part in this. I know that he probably might have needed this win, but AJ, he's still got a lot of time left on the WWE, so there's other options for him. And if you think about it, the draft for next year, we're all about halfway there now. So if stuff did dry up a little bit for AJ, it wouldn't be too long before they freshen it up anyway. Yeah,
I loved the ending to this match. I thought it was excellent, so well executed. John Cena, I was like, boy, was that good. Really well done. The way he got into that, and like Matt said, can't give enough praise for someone like John Cena. I know a lot of people say, he's what's the point doing it? He's done enough as it is. It's just there so that he's tied it up. Is that all the reason they've done it for? But the guy deserves it. I mean, honestly and truly, he is that good, and I have no problems with John Cena winning and getting a 16. Of course, I'm worried about what happens with AJ Styles, like everybody is. But yes, this will be a match that will be hard to beat this year, Matt. I believe in terms of match of the year quality. I'd love to see something like this happen at WrestleMania now, because let's hope it does, because there's certainly this is a huge feat now to follow into the biggest show when you've done it at the Royal Rumble. But very, very good. Matt, I'm giving this a 5 stars. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yes, very bold, and I will have to do the same. It is a 5-star match, and when people look back at this, and when the whole catchphrase for Remember the Rumble, for me, it came down to this match. This will be what is remembered about the 2017 Royal Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely with you there. Yes, so that was that, and of course John Cena winning, that got people speculating that it's got to be the Undertaker. It's got to be the Undertaker who wins the Royal Rumble. Matt, we get to the Royal Rumble. There was some videos played. When you was going into this, Matt, did you get a sort of feeling that they, because when they normally build up to this thing, whether it's the backstage stuff, you get a slight inkling. Okay, he's now a candidate. He's now favourite. Did you get any of that sense going into this, or was you still very open about who was, who could win this?
God, yeah, I was definitely leaving myself open, especially like when I saw the first two people entering the ring. I was like, okay, Jericho, standard. You know, he's been here, he's done this, he knows what this is about, he can last. But when I was thinking, okay, so we're not going to have anything spectacular. We're not going to have Goldberg in first, or we're not going to have Brock Lesnar in first. So I was thinking, that means suspiciously they're going to be at the back end. And then when I thought about that, I thought anything can happen under those circumstances then.
Yeah, well, this is probably where I get the old negative howl now, because for me, this Rumble, I'm going to be honest, man, and I know it's going to sound harsh, but I've got to be honest with you. This was, for me, it was slightly boring. And I never thought I'd say that about a Royal Rumble that is apparently so entertaining and thrilling and full of near misses and all the rest of it. I found certainly the first 50% of this just standard stuff. Like I was just like, there's nothing really happening for me. Like it just wasn't. There was too much laying around. I said this before we even got to this point. I'd said it a couple of weeks ago. In fact, I was fed up with this whole business where two guys have to come in. But this one in particular, Matt, felt like they'd done it even more. Like it was like there were moments where it's like the sea when it goes into two, you know, and that scene from what's its film. But you know, it's like they were just waiting for the next guy to come out. That guy gets his stuff in. And then we're going to start moving around a little bit, and then we'll all go down again. It was like falling down chairs, musical chairs or something. It was ridiculous the way it was paced and planned out. For me, not a lot of creative thought went into that, really. And I know that. Listen, if you look at pre-2011 Royal Rumbles, you'll see guys beating the hell out of each other all over the ring. Now, that might not be great for the production team that go, well, we just want you to focus on the one thing at a time. But if you're at the live audience, like 55,000 people, Matt, for me, that's not good enough, because you want to get those people involved in this. But you know, there was always times where you'd watch a Rumble and you'd miss something because there was so much going on. This one, you had no problems about not missing anything, because it was always about just the sort of 2 or 3 guys at a time. Whether it was 2 guys teaming up against one or just one-on-one every time and then falling down. You'd have no problems whatsoever missing anything on this one. But you know, I'm much more where even if it's just 2 guys hugging over the rope for a while, at least it's something. But when I've seen about 6 guys either side just sitting there looking up, it just takes me out of the zone. And I was not. I can't say I was really. I was expecting a hell of a lot more than what we got. Matt, am I overdoing this one? Is there any? Give me. Is there positive to this? Am I not seeing something? Or how did you feel? At least, you know, sort of at the early goings in this one.
I got to say, no, I think you got that right there. There was an awful lot of times when I was looking across that ring, and like you were saying, there's 6 guys on the floor, and they're not really doing anything. They're just looking at the one that's standing up, and then he's waiting for someone to come out. And you know, particular moments that stick in my mind is like we see Braun Strowman coming out at number 7, you know, and then he demolishes the ring. He's like a dominant force in there. But then we saw in a little video previous, we all know who number 8 is, and of course it's Mr. Obvious, who's number 8. Yeah. Who drew number 8, it would be Sami Zayn, with this whole feud that they've had going on. Another one of those things of, oh, what a coincidence. And of course, I was watching this with our friend Rob, wasn't I, at the time? And I was like, okay, we see Sami Zayn, he did this whole thing where he lasts 10 minutes. He did the 10-minute lasting thing. He can surely last 2 minutes, which means he's going to need help. Who could help Sami Zayn against Braun Strowman? What kind of man would it take? And of course, we went, Big Show. So it just really winds me up when it's so scripted. And it's supposed to be random. You're supposed to have this feeling of anything could happen, except we know the top 5 guys will be in the last, in after the 20 mark. And we know that if someone's came in with a feud, they're going to be shortly followed by their nemesis. And you know, everyone else in the ring would just evacuate the area.
Yeah, well, of course, The other thing to it, Matt, that we had a lot of emails, so I'll just get it all out there because this will sum it up. We had loads of emails saying, "Where was the legends? There was none." For me, I was a little bit disappointed. I'm not saying stack it with 5, but at least 1 or 2 would have been nice. Really, what we got, or what they thought would go down a treat, was Ty Dillinger at number 10, which